What's up, guys? If you don't know me yet, my name's Tyson. I'm here at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, and I was just at a press conference for AIMA and Bafang. AIMA's an electric bike manufacturer. They were unveiling a new product and talking about their partnership with Bafang, and it was really awesome stuff. I'm actually over here at the AIMA booth now, so here's where they've got a bunch more products on display. The press conference was really fascinating because they've developed motors in partnership with Bafang that they're using on a new model, which is the one right here, Santa Monica. So these are 750 watt motors, but they're a lot smaller, slimmer, a lot more low profile than typical 750 watt motors are. Like, those are pretty big, pretty bulky, add a lot of weight. So these really cut down on that. A very efficient drive system, and it's paired with an entire Bafang drive system that has a torque sensor in the bottom bracket here, so very responsive. And they've been working with Bafang for with 5 generations now. They've been working on this motor, so that was really cool to hear. And also, AIMA is expanding into the U.S. So they're kind of a new brand here. I review a lot of bikes in the United States. Hadn't heard of the brand really up until now, but I find out that they've been doing business for like 25 years in China. They have they started out as a standard bicycle manufacturer, so regular bikes, no electronics, acoustic, if you will. And they were a leading supplier and dealer in China for these regular bicycles before getting into electric bikes in 2004. I think that makes a big difference with the quality of their bikes, because they understand a standard bicycle. They understand what it takes to make a good bicycle that rides well, that feels well. A lot of companies don't have that expertise. They only know the electronics, and so you can tell in their end products it just doesn't hold up as well. So before we look at some of their other products in here, I want to show you the Big Sur. All right, so this is their first bike that they made for the North American market. And this is it right here, the Big Sur. They're really all about the California names. You can definitely tell Big Sur, Santa Monica. But this was their first one, big side, 26-inch fat tire. It's got the 750 watt hub motor back here. It's got the torque sensor. And for a first generation bike in the US market, these have done shockingly well. I've actually got someone to talk to about that. This is my good buddy Mitch here. He's a dealer for AIMA. He is a co-founder, co-owner of Power On E-Bikes, Houston, Texas. So Mitch, I'm coming to you so you could just share, what your experience has been with the Big Sur. You carried it for a while. You were one of the first dealers for AIMA, right?
That's true. Yeah, we were, I think, the 8th dealer in the U.S., first one in Texas. And the Big Sur is it's one of our more popular bikes.
What do you think? What do you think is like the difference maker for it? Because it's you've been selling a lot of other bikes out of your shop before this one came along. Why do people pick the Big Sur over something else?
Well, I think the first thing, and maybe cut to a wide here, is really the aesthetics. So if you compare this against something like a Venton or Mach Wheel, both of those brands tend to have a sportier look to them. This one has a bit more of a refined look. It's got the brown sidewalls on here. It has got this all black. It's very well designed from an aesthetics perspective. So I think first and foremost, when it comes down to it, that's usually what draws people in, especially people that are looking for a sporty bike. 8 gears, 52-tooth chainring, so you cannot ghost pedal this thing whatsoever. And I've tried. I mean, I've gotten up to 31 miles per hour just pedaling my heart out, and it still feels like a great ride, which is awesome.
And they have the Altus stuff on here, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Altus, so that's a step up in quality there. It's got the the higher range, probably like a 12 to a 32 tooth cassette on the back there. And I mean, look at the ride position on these things. This place.
It's awesome. Now they have 2 sizes, so there is a medium and a small. And what we usually do is, if there's somebody who's a little bit shorter, we'll try them on the small, but people have different body compositions. So one of the things we usually swap out is this stem here. Sometimes we'll put an extended stem on there to give people more of an upright riding position. But between the small and the medium, it really does cover quite the range. And if you're somebody who's really on the small side, they've got the Big Sur Sport.
Yeah. So this is the new one. So the Sport's only like what, a month?
Or that's been out for 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yeah. So yeah, this is essentially the more approachable version of this. You want to jump on that one for comparison?
Yeah.
So the Big Sur for big people like us, really good fit. But then you come over to the Sport here. It's got the smaller 20-inch wheels. It's a lot more just like kind of agile, nimble feeling here. I like the raised kind of BMX-y style handlebars on here.
Yeah.
You guys have these ones in your shop too, right?
Correct. Yes. And what we find is somebody who doesn't fit on the small, they usually will fit on this, and they have a good riding position. We can adjust the handlebars kind of back and forth. It is a bit of a different look, so there are some people who like this more cruiser style handlebar, which is, you know, that's a personal preference. I like BMX bars. You know, if it were up to me, I would throw turtleneck stems on everything I have and throw BMX bars. Shout out to David Brand New. But, you know, some people don't necessarily like this style, so they want to get something like this one in a small. And going back to what I said is the difference between, say, a vintage mock wheel and Big Sur is when you're riding the Big Sur, which is something we can't do in the video, right? We can only explain to you. The way the controller's set up and the way that the programming is just, it's heads and tails above the rest. So you hop on this, usually people come in, they'll ride a mock wheel, they like it, they feel good. I say, well, why don't you hop on this one? Tell me what you think about this one. And people generally tend to like the ride feel more. The torque sensor, now both of those bikes are torque sensors. The Basalt step through is kind of what we would compare this to. But it's more responsive, it's got a better power curve, and instead of being like you're on an electric vehicle, it feels like you're Lance Armstrong, which is really what, and that's what they're looking for with the torque sensors, is how can you power the bike with assistance from the motor when we have a lot of these, you know, cadence sensors, just some magnets rotating around. You don't really get that interaction with the bike. But on this one, the way that they have the program set up is just, it really is fantastic. It's one of those things where, you know, we'll ride it every once in a while, and then 2 or 3 weeks later we'll go, you know, we'll assemble one, test out the gearing and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I forgot, this is so cool. So really, it's a solid bike. It's a great price point. It's very competitive in the market. And there's just a couple little small attention to detail pieces that really make this one stand out versus some of the other similarly priced step-through fat tire bikes that we have.
We'll probably see that soon, because AIMA's got big plans in the U.S. and the reason that they're able to, you know, execute so well, and like, you know, Mitch was saying, the torque sensor feels tuned a lot better on here than on some competitors, is that partnership with Bafang. They've been building and designing this entire drive system, the motor, the controller, and the torque sensor with Bafang now in its 5th generation, and so like it's really dialed in. You know, the expertise really stands out. Let's look at, so they've got some other stuff here that they talked about in the press conference. Check this thing out. This is the HyHawk. It's, you know, kind of like a, you know, mini bike, electric motorcycle, no pedals here. You know, this is going for, you know, the motorcycle crowd. And, you know, even though it's a small mini bike, I mean, you know, Mitch is a big dude, over 6 feet tall, not bad. And it, you know, they're, I guess we're probably a little older than their target demographic here. They're going after the,
slightly,
you know, like
slightly.
I think they said like the 10 to 25-year-old range, looking for people who. That's what it said on there, but yeah, 15 is probably a little better.
Yeah, legal e-bike riding age is the minimum, and then 25, sort of that younger demographic.
Yeah, people who are getting into motorcycles for the first time and, you know, want to try an electric. I mean, this thing is awesome, dude. It's got the full hydraulic suspension on here, motorcycle grade hydraulic brakes.
I really like this. So they've got these different ambient lights you can change. So you can change the color, which is a fun feature, but also a safety feature when it comes to riding this thing at night. Because generally, we don't have any sidewall reflective stripes here, which we like to see on e-bikes, but the fact that we have these lights, so if somebody's coming at you from the side, you still have something to illuminate you as you're riding at night, which is a really cool feature.
These things, I mean, this thing has lights all over. We got to look at the headlight, because this is just awesome. It's a matrix-style headlight, so there's different lighting configurations depending on what setting you have it on. There's lights over on the side, huge matrix-style light in the rear as well, and so you're really going for the visibility, and even the color for it, you know, the bright green. So this is something that AIMA is kind of testing the waters for the U.S. market. So, you know, if you live in the United States and you would be interested in one of those, you know, shout out in the comments. Let's let them know they should bring it over, because I would love to see that. I would love to see a lot of their other products brought over, actually. So in China, they actually don't sell as many electric bikes. They're known more for their electric motorcycles, and their electric scooters and mopeds are the real big sellers. We've got a couple of those here. Check this out. So this is a fully electric, you know, moped, scooter, everyone has a different name for it. Dual batteries, they're swappable, they're under the seat so they come out. So this is just an amazing city commuter. It's got a lot of utility, you can haul luggage on it, you can bring the batteries inside for charging instead of having to, you know, find a place to park and charge this. And they've even got some like smaller, really fancy ones here. Check this out, the Dan Dan over here. Awesome branding. That's not Barbie, it's Buffy. Small mopeds and scooters like that are what they sell the most of in the Asian market, and you know, So not a lot of cities in the U.S. work well for that, but more and more are starting to build better infrastructure. So, you know, again, if you would be interested in stuff like this from AIMA, you know, these kind of electric two-wheeler stuff that's more powerful than an electric bike, has a bit more use out of it, let us know in the comments. We definitely want to hear from you. They've got some other prototypes here, which I haven't even, did you look at their cargo bike yet? Let's check that thing out. And they told me that this is just a prototype. It's Big Bear. They, you know, they don't have any kind of production plans for this yet. They're going to, you know, be workshopping it a bit, but they want to add in a cargo bike. And so, you know, I just wanted to kind of look at it and see, you know, pretty good start for a prototype for sure. I like the raised adjustable stem there. And it's got a suspension fork, which you don't always see on a cargo bike. You lose some of your just frame strength and rigidity with that. A lot of cargo bikes will nix the suspension so you can go for maximum cargo hauling. But, you know, having a little bit of comfort up front can really make a big difference. What size is that battery, man? That thing is huge.
It is massive.
I don't know if it's
it feels like it's got some cells in there. So that's,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I wonder what the range would be on something like that.
Yeah, and I like the bigger wheels on here too. So these are 26s by, I mean, that's probably what, like a 3-inch wide, maybe like a 3.2 or 4.
No, that's a 3. You're right.
Yeah. So and this, in my opinion, anyways, is like, it's kind of a sweet spot for cargo bikes. A lot of cargo bikes are 20-inch diameter wheels, but that's just, you don't get a lot of rolling efficiency on that, not a good attack angle. So that provides a nice comfort. I mean, they have these huge, look at this, 203 millimeter rotors. Is that one? I think it is.
And that's a staple,
yep, it is.
on all the bikes, actually. As far as the production models, Big Sur Sport, the new Santa Monica, all those have 203 millimeter rotors on there. They really dive into the safety. No mechanical brakes in sight, no 160s in sight. That's the kind of stuff we like to see from a safety perspective.
And then there's the folding bike, which I haven't even looked at all. And I don't know if they're like planning to bring this one, if it's just another like a demo.
As far as I understand, this is just a prototype, and they're working on it. So hopefully the finished product, because a folding bike for AIMA is a great move. They've got a step-through fat tire bike. They got a more approachable 20-inch. They've got the commuter now figured out. So a folding bike, cargo bike, those are the next big moves, in my opinion. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Something that, so, you know, like I mentioned, we were just at the press conference for AIMA. And if you want to watch that, you can check it out, you know, full link right up here. But one thing that really stood out to me is they're really going after the dealer model. You know, they already have, what, like 214 dealers in the United States now.
I think the slide that we saw was outdated. I think they're actually at 220 at this point. And if you go to their website, you can't buy the bikes. So they're 100% going the dealer model, which is great for me because I'm a dealer for them. But it's also nice because when you buy an electric bike from a dealer, you get that hands-on experience, you get that setup, you get that customization. So it's fit, it's finished. The people who get it trust that it's put together correctly. From the brand's perspective, they trust that we're putting them together correctly, meaning that we're going to have less warranty issues, less just missed weird things because people are assembling it. Maybe it's the first time they've done so.
It's obvious that AIMA has really just like a lot of experience and a lot of muscle when it comes to dealer infrastructure that they already know from in China. So in the US, they already have a huge US-based support team to support their dealers. They have a budget for like marketing and branding for their dealers. They have, 6 warehouses in the United States, so if you're a dealer and you need extra parts, it's like, you know, within 3 days they have it there to you.
Can confirm.
Yeah, so that's a huge deal that will allow them to, like, there's a lot of companies, like Mitch was saying, that are primarily direct-to-consumer that have not figured out how to do that from the dealer perspective. And the fact that they can, you know, bring in their new bike, the Santa Monica, which is, you know, hiding right over there, amazing features on this bike. It's only $15.99, is that what they said the price is going to be?
I believe so.
Yeah. So $15.99, which is like, that's competing with like the cheaper end of direct-to-consumer bikes for a premium product that's available in dealerships like all over the place. That is really impressive, and I think it's because they're just like really dialed in on that structure. You know, they're not wasting money on any of the direct-to-consumer stuff. They're not trying to make money on, you know, crazy sale prices all the time. The bike always costs $15.99, and you can get it with great support all over the place. And
the other thing too is, speaking about the Santa Monica, there's 2 things about it that, you know, for me as the reviewer, really stand out. The first one is they have the new Route 66 750 watt motor, which they unveiled at the press conference. The link over here somewhere. And then if you look at the bottom battery, this is the thing that really blew it for me. So look at it from the side. You don't have that wraparound that we see on most e-bikes.
Yeah, that's just beautiful.
It's so
clean, seamless.
It's awesome. You can see it a little bit more on the blue one. right? Because you have the color contrast here, but this is flat. This fits in
Yeah.
here
Oh my
beautifully.
goodness.
We got this nice little catch release here at the bottom, and that's one of those things that, again, like I'm talking about, the attention to detail. Some of those small little things that they're doing that really make it a game changer. Nobody else is doing that. Everybody's got the black wraparound that comes around the side.
Yeah.
This is with the color palette, like what you can and can't do. This would be an easy piece to switch to any color you wanted to. So if they wanted to do on the blue one, it was boom, all blue.
Yeah, and that one looks like maybe a little earlier version. Do you know if they're going to sell multiple versions? Like I noticed that one doesn't have the the fenders. There's no suspension, so I thought that might be an earlier prototype.
This is an earlier prototype. They're all going to come with suspension forks.
All right, guys, that's about it for our time here at the AIMA exhibit at the Consumer Electronics Show. Now we are going to be doing a full review of the Santa Monica, so subscribe so that you can catch that. And if you have any questions about AIMA products, or what it's like to be an AIMA dealer, Mitch will be watching these too. So holler in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Thanks for coming along with us, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.